Hi everybody, Matt back with you. Well, if you've gone off what the media reports have been sounding like, today's the day that the sun crashes into the earth. Apparently it's going to be the hottest day in the UK ever. I'll believe it when it happens. But just in case, I'm heading into Gorpley Clough, which is a beautiful little woodland with water running through it and a few little bits to show you along the way. So let's head there now. So not unlike other little woodland valleys in this area, where there is water, there would at one point have been mills. This one is no exception. So if you look just here next to the river, you can see there is a ruin. But 100 or so years ago it looked like this. So that's Gorpley Mill. I think it's already a ruin at this point in time of the photo. But that building at the front there is obviously this building here. But the mill is obviously long gone. Okay, so here we are at Gorpley Clough. Mind your head. So there are two routes that you can take through Gorpley. One follows the river and one is up on the hilltops. But before we head that way, I'm just going to show you another little bit of a historical site that's here. Obviously that bit there is all part of the old mill. And there's another building there. But before we head along the path, we are going to head up here. And the reason we're heading up is off the path you can find the remains of this little building that you can see at the top of the trees. Is where there was a water wheel hidden away, obviously to bring the water down to the mill. Now it looks like this. So that is where the water wheel would have been. Sorry, Mr. Frog. Everything's shading from the sun today. But yeah, so now we're inside where, I think that water wheel casement, would we call this? Yeah, obviously, after so long, not much left here today. Okay, so we'll leave the water wheel casement just for now, but we are going to be heading back up that way shortly. This to the right of me I think is also a little former dam, but it's a bit too overgrown to get to today, so let's head back down the hill and follow the river. Okay, so I'm going to follow the river, and you'll see on the way a few little bits of interest, including some waterfalls. Not sure how much water there'll be in them today though. I may well come back to the waterfall to finish the video off. So here's the first waterfall. There are some nice little pools en route as well. However, obviously find one that's safe. A lot of this area was around here was used for mining, and I know other people will know a lot more about the rocks around here than I do, so I'm not even going to try. But you occasionally see these little holes. Some of them also still have their metal barrier on. I think they're called adits, and they are actually ways into the old mines here. but not safe at all. And not even I'm going to go into these ever, because they could just collapse due to the fact well, you can see that it's not safe at all. And I don't think they go very far. I think it's more for letting out water. It's a beautiful spot though. Doesn't go very far, possibly half a mile the full width. Full length I should say, sorry. It's so hot my brain isn't working. Here's waterfall number 2. So this one is the biggest waterfall in the valley. Obviously again we've not had much rain for some time, but it's still a little beautiful spot. So I do want to try and resist jumping straight into the water, tempting as it may be due to the heat, but there's a lot more to see yet, so let's head further up the hill. Little bits of interest on the way, I suppose. You can see the old bridge, which has now been replaced. All the time I've been here, this has been in the water. So obviously somebody decided to fish it out, but I don't think it'll go very far. So I'm just heading down to another little waterfall that's a bit off the track. You can see it here. So ultimately, whichever path you decide to take, the final destination here is Gorpley Reservoir, which we're almost at. It's also where Todmorden Waterworks is, or was. So let's head up the hill and I'll show you what's there. So before we head up to the reservoir, I think we can just walk along this path a little way. You might just be able to see the overflow for the reservoir there. Let's see what's here. Well, there does seem to be as a bog. Let's see if I can get around it. Oop! No. Muddy feet time. How did you get there? Right, let's head up to the top. So as we reach the top, we end up at Todmorden Waterworks. So these are the original entrance posts. Said it opened, oh no, sorry, 1900 for that one. When it was started to cut out, the water was turned on 1905. The waterworks themselves look something like this back then. You can see on the left hand side of the picture those entrance posts, but I think the building that's there now is much newer. And the next stop is the reservoir. Naturally today I'm not going to have this place on my own. I'll film it if I can. There's just been a car of delightful people pulled up, so let's see what I can do here.
Okay, so let's get our first look at the reservoir, see how much water's in it today after all this heat. Okay, there's a fair bit of water in it. Also quite a lot of people in it as well. But as I said, not really surprising, there's even tents over there. So this is Gorpley Reservoir. It's quite a nice spot. I like this little bit that's on the hillside just here. It always reminds me a little bit of a heart shape looking down. You see it? Make out the heart? Anyway, I don't think I'll stop here today. We'll head back down into Gorpley.
I've headed down from the reservoir. I'm going back into Gorpley Clough, but rather than follow the path along the river, there is another path that goes along the top. So although this direction is just a nice walk through the trees at the top of the hill, you can see the path by the river just down there. This is where you can also find these mine entrances like this one just here. So I think this is kind of the main one that you can find on this route. Obviously you can see how it goes in there. It's pretty cool, isn't it? Here's another one, you might just be able to see through there. Look at the colour of the water. I do love this particular spot where the trees part. Look at that view. Beautiful. Okay, so far I've shown you the route from the bottom of Gorpley Clough to the top to the reservoir and the path that follows it down. However, there is another little secret part of Gorpley Clough which not many people will know about. Don't tell everybody. I'll show it you now. So as we head down this path, we end up back near where the top of that water wheel encasement was, and we come across this chimney sticking out of the ground here. I'm guessing that may have been for the water wheel and the mill. And I think what it does is it's actually connected to a tunnel that's a bit further on here, which I'm going to show you. It's not very easy to see, everything is so overgrown. But I think if we go here, you can see where the tunnel is. And in there, you can't see today, I haven't brought the torch today, but it's connected to a pipe which heads on that direction. So this is obviously the main path down, but we want to try and just get on top of that bit of wall there. Oh. Right. Wow. Right. Well, it's very overgrown, but this is the path I wanted to show you. See if it gets any better once we get under the trees. Gosh, okay, so that was quite hard work. We're now into the trees and away from all the ferns and the balsam. You can now clearly see that there is a path here. I think what we're actually walking on top of here is where that pipe is, or comes out anyway. But let's see how far we can get. This has not been the easiest of a route. As you can tell, nobody really else walks on here. But you do come to another one of these, like the one we were at originally a minute ago. I'm not going to go too much further on the path. It is getting more and more overgrown again, and as you can see, we are quite near the edge of a big drop. But I just thought I'd show you that little bit. If you visit Gorpley Clough, probably best not to go out of your way to look for it. It's just a bit of history, I think. Okay, so that just about concludes our look at Gorpley Clough today. I'm going to head back down to the bottom, see how busy it is. If I can jump in the waterfall, I will. But if you don't want to see that, feel free to stop now. But yeah, it has turned into a very hot day. So the water is going to be quite refreshing, hopefully. Okay guys, keep safe, and I'll see you very soon. Probably tomorrow. Take care. See you soon.